I want to talk about briefly how I keep track of my in-out projects. Now, I am neurodivergent, so I have to use a physical planner, or I will forget my entire day exists at all. So I have a physical planner that I keep in front of me. You can use Google Sheets. You could use a paid app. Personally, I like to write stuff down in the planner. This is the exact planner that I use. I pulled the pictures from Amazon. Um, ugh, excuse me. I think it's like $10. I buy it every year. I have developed a category system for my planner, which took me 5 years to figure out. 5 years of me missing invoicing people because I forgot that I worked on something and I never got paid for that project because I just never invoiced for it. So I have developed a category system, and this can be whatever you'd like. This is what it is for me. I develop a shorthand for clients. So, for example, if the client is AirCon, the shorthand would be AC, and that is the designation that I now have for my books for all time for AirCon. It's just going to be AC, so that way I don't have to write out long names all the time. Any day that I do work for that company, I will write the shorthand, the project title, the hours, and then the money in for that day. If there's a flat rate, I'll just write flat rate and the money that is. Once I've done that, I highlight the amount of money that I made that day in pink to let myself know that there is an amount there that I need to invoice for eventually. Once I've done that, I make a green dash next to the amounts that I have now invoiced for but not been paid. So I'm ready to invoice, then I do the invoice, send the invoice out, I put a green dash, but not yet been paid. Once I have been paid, I will then go back and highlight the amount in blue. This helps me keep track of invoices that are out, invoices that are in, if I need to go back and check on something, like what's going on. To me, this is like my journal, my diary, my schedule. Like I check it and end with it every day. I have to, or I am going to miss everything and probably not get paid for stuff that I worked on. Here is my exact invoice. So if there happens to be a client that sees this, they're going to be like, hey, that's Chris's invoice. I have included it here for you. I keep it extremely simple and like basic. But you can do it however you'd want to. I can even send this to you if you'd like, if you want the template. But here's something no one ever told me in invoicing: number your invoices. No one ever told me that. Start at 1,000 and your first invoice should be 1,002, 1,002, or 1,001. Hello, can I count? 1,001, 1,002, and so on. Now, this does two things for you. One, it makes you look really professional to have an invoice reference number. Two, it actually is kind of helpful, especially if you're chasing payments down. You can send clients like, hey, per my invoice number, blah, blah, blah. And they can type it in their email search bar and they can find your stuff really quick. So very helpful. And it's helpful for your accounting and stuff later on too, because like companies will send you payment and a lot of times they'll even reference that number for you. So extremely helpful. If you are on contract, you will likely get a PO number the company will provide to you. Underneath that, you're going to do a date and the payment terms. The date is the day you're sending it, not the day you're creating it, the day you're sending it, because under that is the payment terms, and that's going to be how many days from that date until they need to pay you. Now, 30 is the most common. The company will tell you what they want, but 30 is the most common. Sometimes you do get net 45, or in the actual worst case scenario, the bane of my existence, you get net 60. That does happen. It sucks, but it does happen in freelance. But yeah, and then all the obvious things: project name, unit price. Like I just threw in random numbers, but it can be whatever you want. Honestly, my rates go from all over the place, from low to high, depending on who I'm working with. So it just doesn't matter. Make sure you put your mailing address, and it's the actual legal address of where you live, because they're going to be using that for legal documents probably. And make sure you get the legal company name and address, physical location, because that's where you're going to be filing tax information. And yeah, you can do whatever you want. Again, you're running your own business. So if you want to put a picture of your cat in the upper corner, you can. If you want, I'm tempted. If you want to put a picture of yourself, of your social media profile, you absolutely can. It is wholly up to you. It is your invoice. You can do whatever you want.